So brief intro about our mission that we are trying to achieve. So we believe that access to quality education shall be a right and not a privilege. And with this mission, we are determined to turn the knowledge societies in silos to creating a knowledgeable world for all, which is free from the opportunities that come along with geographies, races, cultures, and stuff like that. And we are working towards achieving this goal. So in this orientation, we'll go through the following. So how to register on the platform, how to protect your privacy, how and in what areas shall you get help or you can provide help, what topics shall be avoided by all the participants, information about self-paced quiz which will ensure the participants understand the use of the platform, and any questions for me about the platform or the initiative that you have. So a little introduction about what populations we will be serving within our platform. So there is the population we call mentors, which is you guys. So a mentor is someone who is currently a student or a recent graduate. Recent meaning someone who has graduated from their educational institution within Canada, which can be a university, college, or some kind of professional body such as Chartered Professional Accountancy, Society of Actuaries, or other kinds of professional bodies in the last 3 years. So they must have graduated from any of these kinds of institutions in the last 3 years. A mentee on the other side are incoming students to Canada who must have applied to at least one Canadian institution already. So in the near future, we will also have students from local Canadian population, but right now we are only serving mentees who are coming from outside of Canada. So if you think that you are someone who would be willing to participate as a mentor, is not eligible to be a mentor by our definitions, or do you have other concerns, just contact us and tell us about your background. We are adjusting our programming, so whatever best fits the needs, we will come up with something. If someone is interested to come on board, we will have something for them to take part in this initiative. Just send an email to us through kb2connect@gmail.com. So a little bit about our current platform. So our current platform is a server inside an instant messaging and digital distribution platform. It's called Discord. So we have our server, which is exclusively used for Knowledge Bridge Connects, and it is not impacted by any activities on Discord happening outside our server. So we will provide you with a small demo in the form of a video on the YouTube channel, where we will establish a new account, we'll join the server of KB Connects, and we'll see how the process happens, where you will have access to different channels. We'll talk about this later, what I mean by different channels, segments, and stuff like that. A little bit about how you can access Discord to access the KB Connect server and eventually start helping. So you can access Discord directly from your computer or mobile phone through their website or like web server or something like that by visiting www.discord.com. So if you do not already have an account, you will need to sign up. You will need to create a user ID, which is your nickname, and you'll need to use your email address to sign up. You'll need to set up a password and the normal things that you need to do for signing up on a website. This new ID will be used on your website as well as your mobile app if you choose to go for a mobile app. So mobile app is available for download for Discord on Apple Store as well as Google Play. Once you have downloaded and signed up into your account, you will be able to use our server through a unique link we will provide to you after you have successfully completed this orientation and other steps we will talk about in just a while. So keeping control over your privacy, such as your personal identity, is very important feature of KB Connects. So like we feel this is really important that everyone should be in control of their privacy. So in order to protect your privacy, a key attribute we use is called anonymization. So how we are ensuring that is by encouraging yourself as a participant that when you sign up on Discord, you must choose a nickname. Discord asks you to choose a nickname. So when you choose a nickname, make sure you do not give away your personal information in there. It should not like link to your personal identities. It should not be close to your name, your family name, or information that is personal to you should not come up on the Discord. You should not provide any of your personal information like your name, your unique identifiers to your profiles, your relationships with other individuals, or anything that can give away your information to any participant you find across in the KV Connect zone. You will need to although provide some of this information which will to your administration of the server. We have a few administration. They are recognizable through their different roles within the server. So you will need to provide them certain information. They will be granting you roles that will give you access to a particular channel. So for example, if you need channel to students from Carleton University or the city of Toronto or in the field of AI and whatnot, you will need to communicate that information to your admins. And for that, you will need to provide your personal identification, the stuff that you use to sign up to the platform itself. You will need to provide some information to these mentors and these administrators. So when you have signed up on Discord and have successfully attempted the quiz, again, I'll talk about this later, what this quiz means, you will receive a unique link to our server. So you will need to use that link within a time frame of the expiry of that link. And when you are on board, like we will tell you how soon this link is going to expire. Once you are on board the platform, you will land on this page very similar to the welcome page you see on the screen right here. You will follow the instructions, read the rules page, and ask access to your channels of expertise. We need to reiterate this fact that we are protecting your privacy and you should do all the steps to protect your privacy. So when you're using Kiwi Connects, this is something we care about a lot. So steps we have taken to protect your privacy is number one, we have talked about this already. We make you choose a nickname that does not give away your personal identification. You make sure that any of the breaches, like we make sure that any breaches of the code of the platform, the rules, the user agreements that people have signed, we have zero tolerance on stuff like inappropriate behaviors, inappropriate content, or anything that can be perceived as offensive or disheartening simply to other individuals using the platform. So if you come across any situation where a participant asks too much of personal information, asks you to connect on some other platform, or promotes a product or themselves, like say something offensive or it's inappropriate, convey this immediately to the administrators, and we will take our steps immediately. Now let's assume you have signed up on Discord, you have clicked on your unique link, and you have onboarded the platform. Now you are on the welcome page that we saw in the previous slide. Now, like I think I have given you enough hints what happens next, but like just we'll go through this step with you. So the first step is to kind of read the rules page. Read through the rules that will help you navigate through the platform. And I'll just give you a little peek into what you will find in the rules page. So first is to know your admins. So like you will have information on who the administrations within the rules page, you'll have information on who the admins are. So you will need to contact them in order to confirm your identity, you will provide them with your full name as well as the email address you used to sign up to the platform. It will make sure that you are the rightful user for the platform. And excuse me, sorry. You will then go through the list of segments as well as channels that you will have access to in the KV Connect server. So once you have gone through all of that, you will, so like just giving you some information what a segment or a channel is. So a segment is like a super group. So it can be, let's say, a university, like it can be the segment of university and colleges. It can be a segment for like some other thing, for example, field of specialization, which could be, for example, political science, artificial intelligence, medical sciences, but all of those come under the group of field of specialization. Similarly, if you are in the field of professional degrees, not the university degrees, but professional degrees, so your segment would be professional degrees. Other than that, your student status. So, for example, whether you are graduated, whether you were an international student, you were a local student, all of these are examples of the segment of student status. So each of these segments have different channels within this segment. And these channels were the examples I was giving to you for each of those segments. So for example, I told you about in the field of specialization, which is a segment, you have political science, you have artificial intelligence, you have mathematics, you have so many different kinds of specializations a person can do. All of these are different channels within a segment. So you will go through the list of segments available, and for each of those segments, you'll have a list of different channels. You'll go through them and you'll tell the administration that you need access to this channel from this segments. So in each of these channels, you will have other mentors or mentees who will share similar attributes as yourself. So for example, if you are from Carleton University, in that channel, which is Carleton University, you will have mentors who are either studying at Carleton University or recent graduates of Carleton University, or you will have mentees who are going to become a student at Carleton University and have some questions regarding that. If you do realize that the channel that you have access to is not the right one, or you might be appropriate for a different channel, you can ask the admins and they'll make those changes. They have the authority to change your role so you have access to a different channel afterwards. How is a connection made within a channel? So when you get access to a channel, a mentee will be able to ask a question within that channel. So a channel is like, let's say in a communication group, it's like a group within WhatsApp or something like that. So within people who are of that channel, will be able to post different messages. So a mentee will be posting questions saying that, oh, I have some question about, let's say, XYZ related to the University of Toronto. I'm assuming this is a University of Toronto channel. Now, all the mentors as well as the mentees have access to this information that somebody has asked this question, and these are the wordings of the question. Now, the mentors will assess that if they can answer this particular mentee with their question. So do they have the experience which can be an answer to the mentee's question? If you think you do have the answer, you will be able to direct message this particular mentee, and you can directly answer their questions that this is the answer to your question, and the relationship goes like that's your speed mentoring relation right there. You are communicating with each other. They may ask you for certain clarifications, that what do you mean by this answer? You can explain more, but this is going to be in a private chat. Make sure that this private conversation still abides by all the rules of the platform. That is, there should be no offensive content. There should be like no nothing that is kind of disheartening to the other individual, no private questions that could identify the other individual and whatnot. So make sure of all these things while you are doing this private conversation. On the other hand, for a mentor, they will have to wait until a mentee asks a question in the channel. So they don't have to do anything on the channel but read through the questions and assess if they can answer it, directly message these mentees. Mentees cannot initiate a conversation with a particular mentor. They have to go through the channel in order to ask their question. But mentors can choose to connect with a mentee if they think they can answer the question. The connection would terminate as soon as a satisfying answer is reached by the mentee. So as soon as the mentee is satisfied with the answer the mentor gives, relationship terminates. And then if mentee has another question, they need to again go through the channel to ask a new question, and a mentor will react to them. It could be the same mentor, but they still have to go through the channel in order to ask their question. A little overview of what areas should you what areas should you expect the questions to be from, and what areas should you be entertaining questions from. And we will also talk about some things that you should not entertain. If somebody is asking you something about something, you should not answer them these questions, and I will talk about that in a while. So some areas could be choosing between different universities, choosing between different programs of study within a university or outside. So somebody will ask you something like, I have a confusion between if I want to go for University of Toronto or University of Waterloo, and this is my field of study. And turns out that you are in that same field of study and you have been through the process that, oh, I was choosing between these two things. And when I started my studies, I realized that I should have made that decision, or I made the right decision. I would have regretted if I did not make this decision that I made. So using that information, you can guide the mentees accordingly. Other thing would be choosing courses within a program, suggestions on accommodation. If it's asking about your city, you can talk about, oh, here you'll find good houses, here you'll find economic houses, you have this thing in the vicinity and whatnot. Other things for grad students would be, for example, what are the program applications? How to choose which student supervisor should I choose in order to do this kind of degree? What would be the best way to choose a supervisor? How can I get access to different kinds of fundings, scholarships, and whatnot? If you are an international student, if you have been an international student, you can advise on certain do's and don'ts, excuse me, to keep in mind for the international student who is coming in. So for example, the requirements they need to fulfill, the application process, guidelines that they need to keep in mind and whatnot. So these are the certain examples of what you can provide guidance on. Some things that you should absolutely avoid. So the things that are not covered, you will need to take a judgment that this is something I can provide my guidance in, and this will be helpful for the individual. This is related to these studies, so I can provide my guidance, although it was not presented here. So you will need to take your judgment on that. Certain things you need to absolutely avoid would be, of course, like if you are asking about personal information, something that is confidential for the other individual, something that can uniquely identify the other individual, avoid that kind of conversation. If somebody asks that, don't provide your information to them. Other area would be discussions about sensitive topics, such as like politics, religion, religious beliefs, or like other topics that the other party may find like uncomfortable. Again, if somebody asks you these questions, make sure to tell them this is not the platform for that purpose. Another thing that should be avoided would be like if the other participants ask you to connect outside the platform, tell them no, you cannot, because this platform is supposed to be something that will satisfy all the needs. Or if you're thinking about connecting this mentee with someone outside the platform or within the platform, sharing information to another individual from your personal conversation with the mentee, please don't do that unless you have the consent of this individual and whatnot. or asking questions which are not intended to help the individual in the process of education. So some random question, try to avoid these random conversations which are not related. If you do come across someone who is doing any of the above, who is asking you something inappropriate, just politely remind them that this is not the platform for those purposes. And if this situation persists, escalate this to the administration. You will have them all the time on Discord. Um, Tell them that this is what happened. We'll intervene and we'll see what happens. What's happening. We'll block, and you should, if something is very harsh, just right away block that contact from your Discord so they cannot further contact you. A short quiz has been placed, so hopefully this has been a helpful session so far. So like about all the information we have presented, we do require individuals to go through a quiz to make sure that they understand their requirements for the platform. It's like a small 10-question quiz. And this makes sure that all participants know their responsibilities towards the platform. Once you have successfully completed the quiz, you will receive your unique link to the platform and you will start your journey of helping from there. This is the barcode you could use to access the platform, the quiz, as well as a link that I can provide to you later on. Now, thank you so much for your time. Although like we will be providing you with a small demo of the platform, which will go through the whole process of signing up, making an account, and all those kinds of stuff. But we'll keep this session until here. We will stop recording the session, and then but we will go through your questions, as well as I'll just show you a brief glimpse into how the current platform looks like. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can open your microphones, you can open your cameras now, because this session will not, from here onwards, will not be posted.